Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Kylie and I just finished a whole series on pregnancy. I had my first baby boy, his name is Kenai, and currently I am 8 weeks postpartum. So today we're gonna be talking all about postpartum, everything that I went through, kind of giving you guys some tips and tricks from my experience. Yeah, if you guys are interested in all of that, then definitely keep watching. I do want to start by saying that everybody's postpartum experience is going to be completely different. I would say mine was pretty normal, but yeah, if you're watching this and you are about to give birth, your postpartum experience might be completely different to mine. So definitely keep that in mind. Just use this as kind of a reference for some tips that might help you, but you might experience things totally different than me. Before we get into it, make sure you guys do subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you want more postpartum related videos. If you guys have anything specific you want me to do, leave them down below in the comments and hopefully I can get around to doing them. If you guys are interested in hearing about my postpartum experience, then let's just get on into it. So I have a list of things here on my phone of things to talk about, so I'll kind of go through them one by one. But if there's something I forget to mention, definitely ask me down below and hopefully I can get back to you guys. As I mentioned, I am 8 weeks, actually turning 9 weeks tomorrow, postpartum. I've passed the 6-week checkup point where you're cleared to kind of do all the normal things again. So yeah, as of today, I'm feeling pretty back to normal. Other than my weight still has not gone back down to my original before pregnancy weight. Again, everybody's weight's gonna be different. I am pretty tall, I'm 5'10", and before pregnancy, I weighed 150 pounds, and that has kind of been an average weight for me for my whole life. It's kind of ranged between 140 to like 155 at the most. I did expect to gain a lot of weight during pregnancy, just from what I've heard from friends, that you kind of do gain a little bit more for your first pregnancy. So I did keep that in mind. I also didn't get morning sickness at all. So I just kind of ate my way through the whole pregnancy. Definitely don't recommend that. And I think my second pregnancy, I'll definitely be better about eating. But my total end pregnancy weight when I checked into the hospital was, I think, 228. So I gained a lot of weight during my pregnancy. I can't do the math, but I think it was somewhere in the 60s, 65 range pounds that I did gain. Honestly, I don't really want to see your comments on, you know, if this was healthy or not. Obviously, I was going into my OB, they were checking my weight, they were making sure I was healthy and everything was good. So obviously, if they had said something concerning, I would have been more concerned. Everybody gains weight differently during their pregnancy. You might gain 20 pounds, some people might gain 100 pounds. As long as your doctor is saying you're healthy, you are fine. Keep that in mind as well. But right now, I think at my 6-week appointment when they weighed me, I was 188. I haven't weighed myself since then because I haven't started trying to lose weight at all. And honestly, I'm not really in a rush to lose it. I feel like some people are really strict about, you know, losing the pregnancy weight and, you know, getting on those diets really quickly, but I'm just taking it easy. I'm just trying to eat healthy. I'm going on walks every day. I'm not going to push myself too hard because my main priority is just taking care of our new baby. And again, as long as my body is healthy and I'm just making those little choices throughout the day, I feel good about myself. And it's really 100% not about the number on the scale. It's about how you feel. I definitely try to plan on getting back to my pre-pregnancy weight at some point, but right now it's not a main concern. So I definitely recommend not, you know, watching those videos on trying to lose your pregnancy weight and making it this super quick thing. Just take your time. If you're really wanting to lose it quickly, that's great. Don't put too much pressure on yourself because you will lose it eventually and your baby's only gonna be a newborn for so long. So make that your priority. Yeah, just enjoy those moments with your newborn. And the next topic is bleeding. So I was bleeding a lot, obviously, the first couple days after giving birth, and I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about this. I had watched a ton of YouTube videos, so I kind of knew that there would be bleeding after birth, but you bleed a lot. I think I was bleeding for a total of 2.5 weeks to maybe 3 weeks, but very lightly. But the first week after giving birth, you're gonna bleed a lot, more than a period, I would say. I was switching out pads probably every time I went to the bathroom, which was maybe every 2 hours. And this was just for the first week. But I'll kind of go through what I was wearing postpartum. So The first couple days after postpartum, I was wearing what the hospital gave me, which is these mesh underwear. I'll show them to you guys. They're not very attractive. They're super lightweight. You're just gonna throw these away after using them, but basically I would wear one of these. I would have a pad on. I don't have one next to me, but it's just a normal period pad. And then I would use these Tux cooling pads. I would put 2 in the pad, and then I would spray the pad with the Dermaplast burn and itch spray. This was all given to me from the hospital. This is what they had me do right after giving birth. This is what I continued to do for maybe like the first 4 days. And then after the first 4 days, I went from doing all that to, instead of the mesh underwear, I would wear one of these Depends diapers. When I would wear one of these, I wouldn't have to put one of the pads in there because obviously it has like a padding inside of them. So I would put the Tux pads in here, and then I would spray the whole diaper with the Dermaplast spray. And again, you bleed a lot. So I was probably changing these out again every 2 to 3 hours every time I would go to the bathroom. And when I would go to the bathroom, I would use the Frida Mama spray bottle. This is to help you spray water all down in there because you're not gonna wanna wipe at all because of the stitches and because it's painful and you don't want to be touching anything down there. They say to fill this with warm water, and obviously that feels a lot better, but our sink just takes forever to heat up. So I would just use cold water. Honestly, it didn't make that big of a difference to me. The cold kind of felt good. Definitely recommend getting this for either at the hospital or at home, whatever you want, but this is a really great purchase. And another thing I recommend for at the hospital and maybe like the first 2 to 3 days after, this is a Perennial cold pack. These were given to me at the hospital. I don't know if you can buy them on Amazon. I'm sure you can, but it's basically a pad that has an ice pack in it. So you like break it in half, and then you would just put this like in your diaper or in the mesh underwear. And it is the best feeling ever. You can put the Tux pads on them and you can spray it with the Dermaplast too, and it feels so good. I was doing this at the hospital and switching these out probably every 2 to 3 hours, and it helped so much. I think I used maybe 1 when we got home, but I still have 2 left. I didn't end up using all of them. To finish up the topic on bleeding, you should be 100% not bleeding anymore at your 6-week appointment, which is something that your doctor checks up with you on at your 6-week checkup. I would say I was bleeding consistently for 2 to 2.5 weeks. By 3 weeks, I would say I wasn't wearing a pad anymore. I was in my regular underwear again. I can't remember if I was still using this at this point, but I did use this for a long time. And it was kind of like a period also because, you know, you start with the really thick hospital pads that they give you with the mesh underwear, and then I bought a pack of like super light, like thin period pads from just Target, and that's what I wore basically the last week. So the bleeding was super light, and the thin pads worked really well for that last week. So next topic is going number 2. And this is something that I also was really curious about just in the other YouTube videos that I had watched, because I don't know, it's just so nerve-wracking to think about going number 2 for the first time after giving birth, because you are stretched and ripped down there. I probably should have mentioned that I had a 2nd-degree tear and most of it was internal. So I did have a decent amount of stitches, but yeah, I was very scared to go number 2. The nurses, before we were discharged, wanted to make sure that I did go in the hospital before we left, which I thought was kind of interesting. I didn't know that they were like checking up on that, but I did end up going in the hospital before we left. And honestly, I feel like everyone is worked up about the first time you go, but they have you on so many meds in the hospital, and they also have you on stool softeners. Honestly, the first one was not bad at all. It was probably like the 2nd or 3rd one that literally hurt so bad. So if they give you stool softeners, definitely keep taking them consistently. I was taking so many meds that I just couldn't keep track of them, so it was hard for me to remember to keep taking them. Definitely remember to take them. Remind your husband or whoever you're with to remind you to take them, because you think you're okay after the first one, but you're not, because it's probably the 2nd or 3rd that is gonna get you. So I would recommend just taking the stool softeners for as long as you can. I asked for a prescription for one, so we actually went to the pharmacy and got more so that I could keep taking them. There's nothing wrong with continuing to take them because you are gonna be sore down there for a long time. So I would recommend taking them all the way up to the 6 weeks and kind of evaluating at the 6-week mark if you feel like you still need to take them. I wish I had taken them longer. Again, I just kind of forgot, so I just forgot to keep taking them, and that is something I definitely regret. So the next topic I have here on my phone is your stomach shrinking. So for me, my stomach went down pretty quickly after birth, but I will show you at 8 weeks postpartum how it's looking right now. So I still have a little pooch here, as you can see, but so that is the belly. Obviously very squishy, lots of stretch marks, but that's okay. It gave me my baby, so that's all I'm happy about. Definitely get a lot of high-waisted leggings, high-waisted jeans, and you'll be okay. But I would say my stomach went down pretty quickly. I've seen some pictures of some people who are at the point I'm at and they still look really pregnant. Again, this is just kind of gonna depend on your journey, your body. But yeah, my stomach went down pretty quickly. Stitches, I already talked to you guys about stitches. Again, I did have a 2nd-degree tear. There was a lot of stitching. The doctor probably took 40 minutes to stitch me up, so it did take a while. He was a 9-pound baby, so he was very big. So that probably caused a lot of the tearing, but I had the epidural, so I really didn't feel anything. I've heard horror stories of people like feeling their stitches come out or, you know, feeling their stitches tear. I did not have any of that experience at all. Once she had stitched me up, I did not feel the stitches at all. They dissolved super quickly. I think they're supposed to dissolve within the first week or two. So yeah, I didn't have any problems there. Another topic I have on here is walking. I think I did go on a walk one of the first days we were back home just because it felt so good to get outside. But yeah, I definitely recommend going out on a walk, even if it's super short, to the mailbox and back. It feels really good to move your legs, get up, walk around, get out of the house. Another thing I have on here to talk about is postpartum depression, and I just want to give this video a warning. If you don't want to hear about postpartum depression, you can just click off this video now. I know it's a really touchy subject for some people, so just want to put that disclaimer out here. I did not suffer from postpartum depression. I'm feeling great right now. Everybody definitely struggles with this differently, and I would say I definitely had all the symptoms for the first maybe 2 weeks. I'll just read off you guys some of the symptoms off my phone just so I don't get any of them wrong, but I feel like I definitely did struggle with this for like the first 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks were really hard. Okay, so some of the symptoms of postpartum depression can be sadness, tearfulness, hopelessness, outbursts or irritability, even over small things, worrying, feeling anxious, oversleeping or being unable to sleep when your baby is sleeping. Being unable to sleep when your baby is sleeping is definitely something that I had a really hard time doing. I just could not feel calm going to sleep, you know, knowing nobody was watching him. So if you're feeling that, it's normal. Obviously, if it gets to an extreme, I would definitely reach out for some help, call your doctor. Some more symptoms can be feelings of worthlessness or guilt, trouble bonding with your baby, or thoughts of harming your baby. So obviously, if these symptoms are very strong for you, please call your doctor, talk to them. They will give you help. But I would say if you're in those first 2 weeks and you're just really struggling, just know it's totally normal to feel those symptoms for the first 6 weeks. And at your 6-week checkup, if you are still feeling those things, again, please tell your doctor. But I just want to make it known that you can still have those feelings for the first couple weeks and not have postpartum depression, because I was definitely struggling with a lot of those symptoms: guilt, hopelessness, just missing life before having the baby, just wondering why I don't feel a connection to my baby. And trust me, all of those things will go away. I remember feeling in the moment like, I will never do this again. This is horrible. Why do people like the newborn stage? And worrying that I would never want to have a second kid because this is so hard. And I can tell you right now, I do not feel those things at all. I love my baby. I want to spend every second with him. I'm getting a decent amount of sleep. I know he's safe. I love being around him. I can't wait to have another baby. I don't feel sad or hopeless anymore. And I feel like this is a lot to do with having your very first baby. I feel like these symptoms can be a lot stronger because it's such a drastic life change. You're going from having this freedom, you know, with your spouse to do whatever you want, go wherever you want. And then you have this baby who you have to take care of. You're you've never done it before, and it's really hard. I just recently started following this girl on Instagram. Her name is Kristen. I'll put her Instagram right here. Go follow her if you guys just had a baby. She talks a lot about postpartum depression and kind of relates all of us moms together, and she asks anonymous questions on, you know, how did you feel when you first had your baby? And I can say I related to a lot of the things that other moms were saying. So just know the thoughts that you're having are normal. And please, again, if they get to an extreme, if you feel like you need help, just ask for it. Talk to your spouse about it, your mom, whoever you need to talk to about it. You might need help, and that's okay. But I also just want to make it known that you can still have these feelings, but also not have postpartum depression, and you can get through it, because I'm sitting here at 8 weeks, a totally different person than I was at 2 weeks. I follow Taking Care of Babies, and I love her motto that, I'm gonna butcher it, but she says something like, you are the best parent for your baby. There's nobody else that could be a better mom or a better dad to your baby but you. So just remember that. You will figure it out as it goes. Obviously, I do not have everything figured out yet, but I feel so much better now than I did in the first couple weeks. And I feel like if I knew now what I knew then, I would have had a totally different attitude and mindset. But you will get through this. It will get better, I promise. And then the last thing I have on my list to talk about is sex. At your 6-week appointment, your doctor will either clear you or not clear you to start to have sex again. And we did get cleared, and I've heard a lot of horror stories on your first time after having a baby, that it can be super painful, all this stuff. Your doctor will hopefully talk to you about this at your 6-week checkup appointment. And my doctor did talk to me. She said that it is going to be uncomfortable for sure. She said, have a glass of wine because that can help relax you. And she also said to drink a lot of water, because your body gets super dry after having a baby, because it's just putting all of its energy into making milk for your baby. I'm not gonna go into details, but I will say that the first time is not comfortable, but it's not as painful, I feel like, as people say. Something that my doctor told me that I thought was really a good thing to say was that obviously it gets better because we would all be only children. So obviously it gets better if people keep having kids. So I will definitely say that is true. It definitely gets better. Again, I'm not gonna go into details, but don't get too worked up about it. Just take it slow, it will be fine, and it will get better. So I think that is all of the topics I'm going to cover related to postpartum today. Again, if you feel like you missed anything, or if you have any questions related to anything that I talked about, please comment them down below and I will try and get back to you guys. Make sure to subscribe if you did enjoy this video and give it a thumbs up. Hopefully this video helped you guys out if you are expecting or you're about to have your baby soon. I'm praying for you guys. I hope it goes well, and I know you're gonna do amazing. That is it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Well, I just can't explain what it is you've done to me. What you turned to me.